We celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday with the family. I had a wonderful time. First time in a long time that I have seen all my children and grandchildren, excluding one, together in the same room. And the only reason the one was missing is because he's in school in another country. He's not even in North America. So my only grandson couldn't make it, but he'll be here at Christmas, so we'll see him then. But all the girls were there. All the baby girls and sweet little babies that exhaust their mama. Got to see my little grandchildren, and yeah, that was awesome. Don't do that often enough, and obviously all this nonsense in the last 2 years have torn families apart, separated them, and they've gotten into a pattern of not spending as much time together as what they used to. So getting back to more of a social environment is a little tricky. There were some members, not of my immediate family, but a family that couldn't make our dinner. Some of them for fear of the dreaded sea. One that has had it 5 times. 2 that were experiencing it now. One pretty badly, sick in bed, and the other one knows his wife, no signs, she feels fine, and she was the one who's more terrified of it as well, but apparently she's doing okay where her hubby is sick in bed. So we miss them, and somebody else, a young couple who couldn't make it, just had something else that they had to do on that day, regardless of the fact that it was Thanksgiving. So I'm sure we'll see them at Christmas. Anyway, it was a lovely dinner, lots to eat, lots of seafood, lots of turkey. Well, I had a little bit of turkey, and lots of desserts. Pecan pie was my favorite. That's what I chose. So yes, it was a nice feast. Now, okay, and lately there has been more discussions about nuclear Armageddon, and I think that most people are of the same mindset as I am, that is not a likely occurrence, that is more of a threat than it is a potential reality. But speaking of apocalyptic issues, I think that if we're going to face one at all, it would be more of an economical one. I think that is what is going to be the determining factor in a lot of things. So, and it is something that everyone, absolutely everyone across the world is feeling. Price increases and shortages, and perhaps even famine already in some places. And that is going to be disruptive enough without the need for creating fear through a nuclear Armageddon. I don't think that there is the willingness to openly admit that we're in a serious economical downturn. And it could be, there are those that believe that it can be very, very serious, and I'm one of those. I think that the economy is what's going to hurt everyone. So anything that you bought in the last year or two that you thought maybe you were stocking up too much, well, you probably saved yourself a whole lot of money, and you probably have a whole lot of foodstuffs that other people don't yet, and continue to go out and buy it, and you'll pay more for it now, but at least you'll still have more. And that is always my recommendation, is to stock up as much as what you can, grow as much as what you can. For those of you that have the ability to grow fall gardens, do so. It certainly can't hurt. And those of us that can't, I guess, prepare for the spring garden now. You know, it's never too early to start. So I still have a few things to can up. I've got to do some cranberries, and I'm going to go out and get some orange juice because I want to do something a little bit different with my cranberries this year. But as well, I like to get out and about and keep an eye on what's going on locally. I mean, worldwide, we get the news. We know that there's still a war between Russia and Ukraine, and we know that there are threats being thrown about left, right, and center from everyone. We know that most countries are in trouble one way or another. But what happens locally is what's going to affect me even more so than what happens in other countries. I mean, it all affects you. Every bit of it affects you. But when it's closer to home is when you're really going to feel it. So I do like to keep a very close eye on what's going on around me, on when I can expect to see more shortages, and I do expect to see them. And I would hope that many of you are keeping an eye on your own local environments as well. I have a subscriber from Germany who posted recently that pet food is really difficult to get. We know that Europe as a whole is in a lot of trouble. But I've asked her to keep posting and let us know what's going on in her neighborhood. And I would suggest probably the same with all of you, that if you could comment on what you feel and what you see is going on directly in your own neighborhoods, and how it's affecting you, I think that gives everyone a little bit better picture than what you may hear on the news. So my suggestion is everyone post what they are dealing with locally in their own environments and keep us all informed with your local specific situation. Perhaps that can help out somebody else. So definitely my belief is that the economy is going to be the thing that changes everything. The economic situation is going to create havoc in this world. And yes, all these boys fighting their own little battles, trying to gain power over each other, well, that's got to be resolved at some point. They all have to sit down and determine who gets what territory, who gets to keep their own little piece of the pie that they're fighting over and who doesn't. And continued battle over it to see if there's a winner or a loser is not going to net anybody anything. They're all losers. Nobody wins. I don't think they've figured that out yet, but they will. And they will have to come to a point where they sit down and iron out some sort of settlement. That is also what I'm looking for on the world stage. But, well, see if I'm right or wrong. I could definitely be wrong. But I'm not too terribly worried about threats of Armageddon, nuclear Armageddon. Well, it's always possible. You can't take anything off the table, but I don't really think that that's going to be our issue. I think definitely economics is what we have to be careful of. So, as I said, let's all keep each other informed. Oh yes, and another person told me that there'd be a butter shortage. Now locally here, the last time I went shopping, there was butter on sale, and I picked up another 2 pounds because I had plenty, but I thought I'd pick up a little bit more anyway. So I may yet go out today and pick up a few more if there's actually going to be a butter shortage. I don't doubt it. I think that we are far from resolving our supply chain issues. So, folks, keep in touch. Let us know what you're dealing with so that the rest of us can perhaps be aware of something that we would not have been aware of otherwise. Anyway, have a great day. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Hope you enjoyed this little update from my perspective, and be sure to add yours. Have a great day.